It would not be a very good situation if this bot lane is just going to get stuck. Obviously, post 6, regardless of how the first 6 levels play out, a good solar flare from Lance can be a big problem. Life in particular on the Lux will be pretty susceptible to that if he doesn't have his flash available. So, not necessarily all going to come down to the first few levels, but a good pressure lane for Humble Life. But they had that last game as well. Wasn't enough to actually get them over the line.
What's going to be the ban here? The Renekton with the Elise makes sense, but you could go a lot of ways with this. You could try to take away something from BDD, you could try to take another annoying pick on the top side. A Jax ban makes you wonder, maybe Kingen will run back the Gnar, but again, you pick blue side, so you're going to have to blind pick your top lane most likely. It would mean that BDD would have to blind pick his mid lane. As Kled, no.
They both start with a K.
Yes.
That might be why we have a little bit of confusion there. Little of tomfoolery. Now, Gnar is completely fine into this.
Yeah.
The question is, does King want to lock in Gnar again after getting clapped the way that he did in the previous game? Can, of course, be a little bit tough. Looks like he is not going to let it bother him.
Yeah. If I were Kingen, I mean, I'm not, but okay, never mind. He's just going to play Fiora instead. He wants revenge, and he wants to have side lane pressure. And that's kind of what this pick is going to do for his team. Obviously, leaving the counter pick for mid lane here for BDD from the side of KT. They got the strong Cassante pick. Allows a comfortable pick for Kingen. Now, Silas is banned. Akali is not. Hey, guess what I was just talking about earlier today? It was Yone Zeka, and here we go. He's going to be playing it.
And I'm somewhat surprised here, because this does mean that you're running a full AD composition as Hanwha Life. There is obviously a little bit of mana gems involved. You got Life, you got a little bit of true damage from the Fiora, but that's mostly relevant in the 1v1. Yone has some magic damage in his kit as well, but overall, for KT, itemization going to be very, very straightforward. And just like in the last game, do you think Hanwha Life is reliant on not falling behind? Do have a lot of scaling, and the top side is incredibly strong. Particularly the mid-jungle 2v2 is not even remotely close. Do you think that in the top side, depending on whether or not Kingen gets caught off guard, there are some possibilities there. But overall, early prio should be in favor of Hanwha Life on the bottom and top half of the map. And then in the mid lane, Zeka might struggle a little early on. But if there is a pick that says, I am going to 1v9 carry, then this feels a whole lot better than the Rise of the previous game.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely still some interesting parts of this draft, but I do think that Hanwha Life Esports have gotten themselves in a better position compared to game number 1. But even KT's side is also quite nice. I mean, they have a lot of ways to get in your face and to dive on in there. They also have some outs with the Azir who can kind of go both ways. He's a BDD fan. There are a lot of those out there in the crowd.
And it must be nice seeing BDD, even though he hasn't really been the focal point, I don't think, of the team thus far. Had a couple of great games, and most notably, everything's better than Nong's. Yeah, our guy is back. He's back. Yeah, but he's not the focal point of the camera right now. And this feels eerily similar. A 1-3-1 comp, a lot of topside skirmishing power, very good pressure lane on the bot side of the map. Snowball potential is insane here for Hanwha Life, but they can also run into some of the same issues, whereas here for KT, lot of team fighting power, they can get it done.
Here we go, game number 2. Let's jump on the rift. Off we go to the bottom lane. I was going to mention it, but with lanes like this, we will definitely be seeing some focus towards the bottom side of the map this time around. With the amount of pressure that Caitlyn Lux can put on the lane, it will...
Wow. Life not even giving the ward kill to Viper.
No.
Saw the hover as well. The observers were like, Caitlyn. Lux. Caitlyn Lux. Caitlyn Lux. Caitlyn
Yeah.
Lux.
So Zeka's here on the Yone. It's
It's
definitely surprising to see him jump onto this in this position with a distinct lack of AP damage.
Oh.
Okay. This, I think, is going to work.
Live gotta execute.
BDD is in the bottom lane, and Life... He made it.
Alcove,
the alcove. There you go. That was cool. I like what Jonas Strong did. Kept it interesting. So it ends up being a cleanse in the trade for BDD not being in the lane here, but it doesn't look like he's going to miss any experience or anything like that, so it's totally fine. Seems worth.
Not going to miss anything. Get the early cleanse, and that does mean that possible all-in in the early parts of the lane going to be a lot stronger now that Viper will not be able to actually get out of that scot-free. Unfortunately for KT, Viper and Life still very much in control as expected with this lane. Double range, going to be able to get a lot of pressure and poke down, and now Aiming and Lahens are already in a rather unfortunate position as Life does ding 2 level first, as we noted earlier.
And yeah, I mean, this is not unlike game number 1. I mean, we did see this with the Varus-Heimer. They were able to push in and be extremely annoying on the side of Viper and Life in game number 1. This time, a little bit different. I think it's a bit harder to farm from a safe distance as the Varus, but you have some decent poke of your own. And obviously this time he's got a Leona instead of a Karma, which is going to change a lot.
Clit is still sitting in bot here. Cleared his bot side, and then because they had double wards, in case Cuz did actually go for something, could counter gank there. Really showcasing what the meta is right now, which is effectively level 3 gank bot, or make sure that your bot doesn't get level 3 ganked and fall behind and lose the game.
It's, you know, it's the rule of 3s, right? Minute 3.
Three people.
Three people.
Level 3.
The bottom side, level 3 gank.
Yeah.
3v3 in the bottom lane all day long. 3 lanes. Except in this case, it's only 1, which is the bottom lane. But, you know, like I was saying, you know, this bottom lane is going to be pretty similar in terms of its ability to push. Obviously, they have to be very careful about the potential engage from Cuz and Lahens. But if they can navigate that as, oh, this ward! Is that Ornn?
It does look like...
Oh, Ornn? Yeah, that was like an Ornn ward.
Oh my god. Let's just... Well, I'm needed.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Why did he
top
leave?
side of the jungle.
He went to go do blue buff? No, that's unimportant. The bottom lane is what is important.
Yeah, this is really where Cuz's pathing is feeling much better. Already level 4, able to actually pick up a camp. Now BDD is going to be completely tracked. Cuz is still waiting. Still not going anywhere.
Or even 3 bot. I mean, where's Click going? Oh, he's looking to gank BDD.
That's not... No.
BDD just going to sidestep that, made that look really easy.
But they also can't really dive. Because the bot lane also has more than enough wave clear, and Flash is still available. Viper now will also have his cleanse. Okay. Are we diving Zeka? No, they read it, and a lot of movement, a lot of posturing, as we like to say. And the only...
Check your posture right now.
The only thing it's done is delay a lot of jungle clearing. Again, I think worse for Clid, as he just now dings level 4. Oh, come on.
They are actually going to dive him as Zeka flashes, but there's the cocoon. Do they have the damage? That's the question. Clid is here, and he's trying to trade it back, but doesn't look like it should be enough, especially with the dive power of the Elise. As, of course, Lahens has been gone for quite a while, so at least Viper and Life will get this turret plate. But I think they were going to get this anyway. It feels good for KT to get that dive off early.
Overall, depending on whether they can get the second plate, Humble Life will at the very least equalize it, but because of Lethality Varus, they're still able to do a great job in terms of, or he's rather still able to clear the wave, so yeah, he's going to miss out on a little bit, but overall, not too bad. I think Aiming was trying to maybe get the plate down there as well, as it is in full sight as well, right? With them being aware Lahens was still there, unfortunately not being able to dodge both the Zenith blades and the... oh my god, Lahens.
Yeah.
The EDD, or the EDG flashing. And this is why you pick Elise, because again, in the early game, you're getting a lot of work done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw even, Kingham was doing a good job of pressuring in the top side. But he has backed off. He has kind of gone into a passive mode because you never know. He doesn't have a huge amount of vision up on that top side. He has the one ward near the river. Clid was in like a pretty good spot to handle the dive. Unfortunately, he's just Sejuani, as this is going to be Lahens getting knocked back. Colonel Drake not going to do too much damage, but annoying for Lahens, as this kind of roam strategy definitely looking a lot better on the Leona compared to something like the Karma or the Heimerdinger.
He was just not on the right champion.
Lahens begging for engaged supports to be back.
That's not...
I don't know why he just doesn't play Singed there.
Yeah, I'm also confused. I'm wondering when we're going to see Lahens' Elise come through again.
Ooh, big respect from Life, and that is absolutely the correct move. Cuz was here again. And so Life will be able to get away, but that is a flash gone now on the Lux. And you were talking about before, if he doesn't have flash, you're pretty much not getting out of this if you're not in a good position as Lux.
And overall, it's just not feeling that great, right? Zeka, due to that dive, actually pretty decently behind. Clid has been shadowing the whole game, has been trying his best to mitigate the impact from Cuz, but Cuz still completely able to get that one dive off, to put pressure on, and most notably, despite all of this, Viper and Life are also barely ahead of Aiming and Lahens. This is actually quite big, because in the previous game, they got a lot done. They got a ton of early plates. This time around, haven't really been able to do so. Now, I do think the Humble Life composition is way better than it was the last time around. There are, particularly once you hit your one-item spikes on champions like Kingen, Zeka, all the power that you can try and utilize, but this early game be completely run by KT.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a good job here. 15 CS lead for BDD in the mid lane. It does look like with this Rift Herald spawning and the fact that Keen has done a good job of, ever since, I guess, after level 3 or so, he has been the one putting on the pressure. I thought they were going to move up towards that Rift Herald. They do have Cuz doing the Dragon at the moment. Yeah, this top side has been going very well for Keen once again. Just taking good trades. Kingen gonna need some more items to get that down. So Infernal this time to the side of KT early. Remember that Humalife was able to get that early in the last game, but it didn't amount to too much. But for KT, going to be a very nice start for them.
Keen playing this matchup beautifully, actually getting Kingen down low, zoning him off of CS will of course catch this crashing wave, but that trade and the lack of teleport might mean that the Herald could also be available here for KT if they do want to go for it. Do see Lahens still roaming on, maybe making his way down, not on vision. Remember, Life doesn't have TP, or Flash rather, and Lahens, yeah, you don't have 6 yet. You've been roaming a lot, my friend.
He was...
showing dominance.
Yeah, and in a way, KT don't know 100% that Elise is not there, so, or Humalife rather, bottom lane, so they just had to immediately respect that, back away. You see that Viper and Life are trying their best to push this in. It has been a little bit janky, as now Clid is trying to get up to the top side. There's the grand challenge already, 2 of them procced here. The ult does come out from Keen, but he is pretty deep in the top alcove as the sun comes in. Elise is making his way up, and finally the ult will come in as a trade in the bottom side. Look at this! Aiming and Lahens able to get an engage on down here in the bottom side, and Life is going to go down very close there as BDD is sweeping him under the turret. Able to trade back excellently onto King, and Clid will just barely survive in the top side.
Everything is going wrong for Hanwha Life. They're unable to win the 2v2. They're unable to find a successful play on the top side of the map. You see there, right? Because of how long Keen is able to stay alive. They can't get it done as here. I think Viper is just flash Xenoblade, CC chain comes through. Too much CC for him as that is an incredible amount of burst. Well done by aiming. Life not able.
360.
Yeah. And Life unable to find either. This was, Lens wasn't even 6 at the beginning of the play. Right? Like Ding 6 afterwards. And here, if Keen goes down immediately, I think they're fine. But also do note, like this wave is crashing. BDD has priority, so as a result, with Keen staying alive this long and the ultimate having to be invested.
We're watching bot lane and live, by the way. Clid is here. Not a lot of summoners, and Clid's mere presence will be enough to push them back. No ult for Lahen's pretty close. Definitely could have thrown that out if he had it. He did not. You can see that Clid, you know, once again, it's not quite the Young Jay experience, but it's still this feeling of like, well, I'm here, but, you know, I'm basically just here to neutralize the Elise. I'm not finding many looks of my own.
And it's still fine for Humble Life in that they do have a lot of power if they can get to their spikes, but what I'm worried about is that they are going to remain as seemingly behind the curve. That's really the key feeling here, is that every single time that Humble Life is doing something, it's a response to a KT play. The only proactive play they made was the one on top side that backfired because they weren't able to actually kill Keen soon enough. As, lethality Varus with 2 kills is a very unfun experience, and here they are again. Yeah. Zeka is just now teleporting towards the mid lane, and in of itself, that's fine, but BDD already roaming, already on his way.
And every time we look at the top side as well, if there's not a gank going on, Keen is just, he's got the Keen textbook out, and he is just reading lines and pages over and over to Kingen. This does not look close in the top lane.
And Zeka, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you don't 1v9, there's a lot of team fighting power still in the Humble Life composition, and if you are able to find a Sejuani engage, right, maybe Zeka can get a bunch of people together. I do really like their kind of 1-4, possibly even 5v5, depending on how good the setup is. Their peak potential is also great. But you're going to reach a point eventually where you're going to have so little map control that KT will never ever have to walk into unwarded territory. They also, unlike the previous game, have a very, very tanky and far ahead Leona that can just walk in. As aiming says...
Look at the timing of the swap. They're like, oh, here, aiming, have 2 free turret plates. Will he get a 3rd one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you should. Wow.
They're sacking everything.
3
Herald.
full turret plates.
Oh, it's going to be more. No one is coming.
Oh,
nothing's happening.
The turret plates are gone. So could have been more, as Keen is getting on in there. Nicely on ultimate, just a zone for now. That Lux ultimate will sail wide. There's a lot of damages in the King, and they can't quite take him down, though. Surprising that Kingdom was able to survive all through that. It's a big skirmish in the top side, but the big winner is actually just aiming. As, okay, he's got, you know, an unbound soul. He'll be fine. Jonah Strong is like, where is this guy? Where did he come from? That's okay. They will trade turrets, but again, the big thing is all the turret plates. The free farm here for aiming.
He's just living his best life, Valdez.
Okay, looking for the 1v1 here on the BDD, but a simple shuffle away will be enough. That is a very big chunk, you know, right as he comes back, right as he teleports back in the lane, so it's still a good trade, but not quite good enough to get them back in this one.
It feels like there was very little at this point that's going to be enough, as you need to win this play. You're investing so many resources, you're giving up so much on your bottom half of the map that this not working out is, it doesn't go horribly, right? No one dies, but you invest an incredible amount of resources, don't get anything done, and aiming gets to just farm up a storm, get first turret blood, full local gold, got, what was it, 3 plates in the end? And for Hanwha, you got 1 Herald that didn't do that much.
Just Cloud. Hextech would have been the nuts. Like that would have been potentially GG, because, you know, like we said in the draft, as you know, specifically you chronically, we said like if Hololive get behind, it's very little you can do because, yes, they have a lot of scaling, but it's going to take them a long time to get there. Like, you need at least a couple more items on all 3 of your carries to really be in a position to challenge KT. So KT kind of just get to do whatever they want.
Yeah, because if you look at what Hanwha Life is available, for Viper, it's going to be free items, right, when the Infinity Edge actually comes through, and up until that point, Viper will still be okay, but this is not a Caitlyn that's ahead, and as a result, this is a trap that Caitlyn can definitely fall into. Your mid game is kind of lackluster if you didn't pick up a lot of plates, you didn't pick up a lot of early kills, and you're playing into very fallacy zone. So aiming can just relentlessly siege with the control that they have. It's really hard to actually take him down. Has a great buddy as well, and the dive from KT is actually amazing, right? You have a Leona who doesn't care about turrets. You have a Cassante, you have an Elise who doesn't care about turrets. So it's not like you're safe underneath your turret either.
Okay, they're gonna find aiming, force him to cleanse.
That's nice.
That little cleansey boy there, but aiming seems to not care all too much.
No, gonna need those moments. And Sundra at least is done for Kingen. That's huge, even though the Bramble Vest on Keen is still going to be quite a nuisance. And actual being able to 1v1 Cassante is still very far off. And for Zeka, also looking at that Infinity Edge, right? That's the type of spike that you're going to need. But he hasn't really been able to accelerate the game either. And again, I don't think you're safe at all here underneath this turret.
They are trying to brute force it a little bit. Just a little bit of zoning ults, perhaps, as now Lahens is going to go in. They're going to sweep up the Sejuani, and Clid was not safe. He's like, oh, I'm pretty tanky. I should be okay. No! He gets immediately dunked by the 5 of them.
Yeah, even if there is a turret, they can do that. And there wasn't a turret. Well, there was. It was a KT turret.
Yeah. Little Azir turret. Let's take another look.
Trying to clear the wave here is Hanwha Life, but can't quite get the cannon down. Even with the Lance ultimate being used preemptively, doesn't matter. Teleport also gets used here.
He got chained. Chains of corruption.
Yeah.
So a sitting piggy was the Sejuani.
And it's not all over for Hanwha Life, but with how good KT is looking, I'm feeling a 2-0 here. Really, Valdez, because with the composition that KT has, they can basically do anything as Zeka.
He's near the turret.
Yeah, should be alright.
Yeah.
Because you can dive, so outer turret shouldn't be a problem. Your siege is great, because you have Azir and a Lethality Zerus. Your objective take is very quick as well. You can hard engage, right? Like, because you're so far ahead, it's not like you're matching in sideline.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't know about this one. This is
kind of a combination of all of the things you just said. Life looks very dead as they are trying to go all in onto this Lux. He actually does a nice amount of damage. The Yone ult is here onto the turret, but not quite enough damage follow-up from the side of Hanwha Life. So KT make the dive work. They're going to have to TP into the mid lane as Fiora is getting a free turret. There was a lot of stuff to get that kill, but KT still pull it off.
And now imagine that moment that Kingen also has teleport. That was a bit risky from KT. You can actually possibly punish there if you have the teleport. But again, was used in mid, so as a result, you're going to be down a member. And you can see, like, they don't have to care. They're not even waiting for the wave. Keen is just tanking. Like a fool, he's still tanking. Right? Like, it's not up until the very end that he's able to unstoppable his way out. And they don't have to care. They get the turret, they get the kills that they were looking for. And now, as a result, KT getting even further and further ahead. They're playing proactive. Right, they're very cognizant of how strong they are in the game right now. They're not taking any, well, that was a little bit of a risk, but not even a crazy risk again, knowing how well they're doing.
Yeah.
And soul points on the table. It's not the best soul, but I am super impressed by what KT is showing here. And one of these two teams, or rather both teams, got beaten by Liv Sandbox. And one of them learned. The other not looking great right now. Exactly.
The emotional response to how badly they got somewhat embarrassed by Liv Sandbox. Both of these teams that on paper should be able to defeat that team. was different. You know, Hirai and the boys, even Aiming was like, we just sucked. We were not good. We were terrible. We need to be so much better. It was a more kind of blunt force impact. They were like, okay, that woke us up. We are ready now to play. KT have responded. Whereas Humble Life Esports, you know, on Sunday, they're like, ah, man, that was unfortunate. They were talking, oh, our drafting wasn't that good. Well, here we are again. They're not playing excellently, and I think their drafting has been poor to mediocre. And, yeah, I think you're right. I think KT have learned. It's a nice look for them. The game is not over. They could still pull a KT. But let's see.
They really, it's possible.
They haven't been looking very KT so far.
You know what the key difference to me is? It's not necessarily KT, but also how Hanwha look. Because in the Live Sandbox game, good or bad, Live Sandbox was trying stuff. Right? They were making plays, they were trying to look for sides. And this to me really feels like a type of game where they say, okay, we're gonna try and hit our late game. And
okay, well, Varus and Leona are coming down to gank this.
What is that?
Yeah, KT know that. Okay, well, he's gonna ghost. I think he's fine actually.
Huh. Okay, well,
he's able to ghost out of that one.
Well done.
So, Chronicler, are you a ghoster or a foster?
I don't enjoy that.
I'm just curious. I mean, do you put ghost on F or D?
I'm a toaster.
Toaster, okay. Life is dead. He's toast. TP has to be used here. Zeka's just gonna survive, but down a TP.
It's just a bit of a disaster, isn't it? It's not good. Across the board, Hanwha Life are getting caught off guard. They're unable to really contest any of the objectives. The early game was completely run by Cuz. And while Clid was, you know, doing a decent job of matching him, and dive still worked.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we see the whole play, I'm like, that was like a barrel moment or something.
Maybe
Not
at this
really
point
sure
it's a
what that
life
was.
moment. Well, actually, Barrel just lost as well, so maybe.
Yeah, it was just really extremely aggressive. I mean, especially with an Azir over the wall.
Oh, great.
Okay, he's gonna get it here. Nice little smite.
So we are getting close, not close, but closer.
We are
spikes.
approaching.
We are approaching a point, and again, it's Cloudsoul, so losing it's not the end of the world, doesn't mean that you lost the game. As Hanwha Life, where Zeka is going to hit his Infinity Edge spike. You know, we get Viper a third item. And then we hope that KT just line up nicely and, I don't know, go for an ill-advised dive. Try and flip a Baron when they don't need to. That's a KT classic. I can see it. Because otherwise, with the lead that KT currently has, they're in a very good position as long as they keep playing proactively. So I would like them to continue sieging like you're doing here, choke out the vision, right? Try and open up this mid lane turret.
They're definitely getting some nice wins. I mean, it's not huge, especially because they did take out all of the outer turrets, so it's a little bit difficult to find, like, okay, well, what are we going to get now? We can't quite do Baron. There's no Drake, there's no outer turrets. As okay, the hidden Piggy is the scariest. As Clip, he's just gonna get out. He's gonna shuffle as his ult just sails wide and doesn't matter. He flashes and shuffles to safety. Nice try from Clip though.
At times we have questioned BDD's builds. He is the inventor of Triple Lifeline, but in that case, Demonic Embrace is here, actually keeping him alive.
And he just bought a stopwatch.
Yeah, he's definitely not dying. Nice attempt there from Hanwha Life. Those are the type of plays that I actually really like to see when teams are behind. Is not necessarily super high risk, and those type of traps.
So fast. Life has a crown, so he's not going to take too much damage. Click goes in. As everything's sailing wide, everybody's so fast on this Cloud Rift that everybody's just missing skill shots.
Everyone's
pretty funny, yeah.
But KT really are just biding time. I personally think they can go for the Baron, but they might not want to take that risk when in 14 seconds there is a free soul that they should be able to pick up. And
Strong's like, do it.
Hanwha Life knows that they're not on Drake. And now they also have confirmation that they're currently on Baron.
Although they did see BDD pull off of that one.
Great.
So.
Yeah. Much better. You don't need to take any risks. Just take yourself a soul here, as that should be the Infinity Edge now done. That's a big spike. Is it enough? I'm going to say probably not.
You know what we did see recently in Challengers? We weren't casting it, but we saw a replay of a 5-man Gnar into a 5-man Yone. True.
That's how you win.
That's how you should have gone for the Gnar this time. But no, I mean, yeah, he might need some kind of miracle like that to try to pull this one back. As we have certifiably entered a pretty deep lull state. We've just kind of been sitting around waiting for KT to do something.
They're gonna do Baron.
the Cloud Soul, which was nice, but
they're gonna do Baron.
Just hanging out. You can see ever since like 18 minutes into the game, just kind of chilling. That's okay, Clid. He's pretty tanky, but can he get away from this one? He's able to land that ult onto Varus, which I think is the main thing that keeps him alive.
Yeah, able to stay alive there. Radiant Virtue giving him some extra tankiness. Aiming also hasn't finished his Surreal yet, only sitting on Last Whisper. And in general, of course, Lethality Varus not going to be quite as good at shredding tanks as Infinity Edge. Another one?
No.
Lord Dominic's? But good enough. I'll take any item finish, I'll take.
Oh, Zeka, nice damage, but not going to commit to that one. So he's beginning to hit some. And KT, you know, they got to do something. Okay, they're going to go for this Baron. Looks pretty likely they should get it, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They're at least going to force Hanwha Life to do something about it, as this teleport... I don't know what that was for, exactly. As here we go. Going to get him closer to the engage, I suppose, as Hanwha Life Esports gets a bit caught. KT going in there, look at Keen, he is just running straight at them. The damage not quite there for the side of Hanwha Life Esports, and they are just getting run down like they are being hunted on this rift. As Viper is somewhere up north as we zoom farther and farther away. And Clid will eventually go down as well. Viper, the third one, and KT, they get the Baron, and they get 3 bonus kills. How about that?
A lot of thoughts after that one. Most notably, KT probably, after doing that Baron, went, oh, we really kill it very quickly. Could have seen that one coming, could have done this 10 minutes ago. Well, not 10, Baron wasn't spawned, but maybe 5 minutes ago. Didn't want to take any risks, and the ultimate that you're about to see here from Zeka really sums up this game for Hanwha Life. That's the game right there.
Yeah.
And knowing that there is no ultimate available, that there isn't even a Yone in this fight, KT, as they should, hard force, split them up, no one to be afraid of, no real ability to turn. Zeka's teleporting top just to try and get something done. And you can sense both, like, I'm very happy for KT. I think they look so much better than in the game against Liv Sandbox.
This is what we need all these teams to be doing. Like,
yeah.
KT's leading the charge. Like, this is awesome. As, okay, they're trying to get on top of Aiming, as Aiming just kind of laughs at the Yone. Where did he go? He just, like, disappeared into the ground or something, as Keen now is going to get stunned up, but he doesn't care. He's Kazanbe. This looks like the end of the game. The Baron buff enough. The knockups underneath the turret, as this is what you were talking about, Chronicler. They finally find an opportunity to just press all their buttons underneath the turret, and they will do exactly that. KT with actually the clean 2-0, nothing to see here.
It's a real 2-0.
This
Nothing
is great.
to see here. Actually, great play from KT.
I just want to say, I'm getting a little excited.
No, no, Valdez. No.
GG 2-0. KT come out hard today, as they took that loss against Liv Sandbox, and they said that cannot happen again, and they just stomped the life out of Hanwha Life Esports and made them look silly. Huge win for them. That is a massive turnaround.
It is a combination of them looking revitalized in draft, looking revitalized in terms of gameplay. Cuz to me, even though he didn't get POG in game number 1, really the big difference maker here. I think individually, Keen looked way better, and overall, a very proactive draft from KT, after which they actually play it very proactively. Right?
Yeah.
We were making some jokes around the Baron timings and whatnot later on, but
A little bit to take that Baron, but you
it's
know.
fine.
It's fine.
I don't mind it
They
at all.
did it.
This is clearly a KT that is very, very far ahead of the, well, now is the Hanwha Live DRX curve, because for Hanwha Live, this has got the sting. And losing tonight's series would have been bad regardless. Losing it in the way that you did is way worse. Because not only did you lose the sandbox, which in of itself is tough, but then so did KT. And look how they look now.
Yeah, they're really happy. You know, these guys, they've been wanting a win like this for a bit, and
Oh.
I'm glad they finally get it. Hanwha Life Esports, like I said before, you know, it would be awesome if all of our middle-level teams could kind of have this resurgence like KT have had tonight, but this is KT's night, and they absolutely deserve it. Hanwha Life Esports going to have to figure something out because they're looking a little bit DRX-y to me, Chronicler. Just a little bit lost. A little bit of lack of confidence in a lot of different factors. I think they do not have a good hold on the meta. And the play does not really back it up either. So they're going to have to figure something out. As lots of happy faces here for KT. Aiming, saying, this is how you play the Varus. Welcome back to Korea.
Actually, just such an amazing job from KT. Bringing back the Leona as well, something that we haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah,
together with the
loved-
Elise as
Love the R2, R3. Oh my god.
yeah, and
Amazing.
we keep going back to this, but for Hanwha Life, it's very similar to DRX in that the team just looks all over the place. It doesn't look like they have a voice. It doesn't look like they have a leader. They're just kind of doing their own thing. The amount of times where we see late teleports, where we see someone try and go for a play and then someone shows up like 2 seconds too late, keeps happening over and over and over, and feels like there is a lot to fix for some of the teams that we expected to be at the very least in a decent spot here for the LCK. First DRX,
Yeah.
but Hanwha Life might even be more shocking than DRX. Because DRX on paper does have a couple of players that are notable for being very consistent. But looking this lackluster, this lifeless for a Hanwha Live Esports.
Said that right this lifetime.
Yeah, I've worked on 3 levels.
Oh, man.
Is very, very tough. And good luck to the team and the coaching staff. These type of losses really, really sting. Because again, this teleport that we see here from King, imagine if it's here. There's a couple of these moments that you're going to go back to, going to feel very, very bad about, but you need to get through it for KT.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Genuinely. Clean 2-0. Nothing to see here.
Actually,
Looked like
yeah.
the better team all night.
Absolutely. Just, this is your moment, KT fans. You got it. It happened.
Just tonight, though. Don't get...
Yeah, well, don't pull a Valdez. Yeah, just really good stuff.
세주 고치. 야, 캐틀 노플이야. 세주 노플.
Even everybody
끝내자,
individually. Really good
들어가,
stuff,
들어가,
like
들어가,
Ian
들어가,
stepping
들어가.
up, Cuz stepping
들어가,
up,
들어가.
BDD stepping up.
형 살아? 왼쪽 큐.
살게.
Bottom lane saying,
고치,
hey, we
고치,
did our
고치.
jobs, but we weren't even like the
야미.
protagonists of this series.
얘들아, 바텀 라인
you know?
관리하자.
Which is pretty
나이스.
interesting. It's not
나이스.
necessarily the way the meta's going and a lot of our games are going.
DD.
Obviously, there was a lot of focus on the bottom lane in game 2, but
DD 아지르.
이게 게임이지. 재밌당. 이게가 재밌당.
나이스요.
this game is fun.
휴가 가자. 휴가 가자.
I love happy Lahens.
휴가 개꿀.
Lahens and Cuz really shaping the energy on this team. Good stuff. And just like I said in the last one where DRX kind of got pummeled in the final game, same thing here for Hanwha Life. They had 1 kill, 2 towers, and a Herald. That's it.